Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi and a very good day. Okay. Today we're going to continue with incentive and compensation system, incentive scheme and compensation system, as well as going to look into the motivational theory. So there will be one question normally in your final exam with regard to this topic. Okay, so we continue. Okay, so with basically what are the things that you need to know is about the motivational and ethical issues in performance evaluation. So previously we have looked into goal congruence, we have looked into the principal agent relationship. What is meant by goal congruence is basically when you also you already covered goal congruence masa buat your transfer pricing, MAF 551, and also we already look into goal congruence when we did our performance evaluation. It's basically when you talk about the um, uh, objectives of the SBU ataupun strategic business units are in alignment with the objective of the organization as a whole. Hopefully you still remember whereby you are looking at the divisions. We call it as the strategic business units, let's say A, B, and C, or department A, B, and C. And all the objectives of these managers, it must be in alignment with the objectives of the organization as a whole. So that is basically when you talk about the goal congruence. Then we're going to continue with the motivational theories whereby we are looking at how do you explain the motivations. How do you explain the motivations? Normally you will use theories. So theories is basically to explain. So under the theory, there are various theories that you need to know. You need to know about Hertberg theory, Maslow theory, the expectancy theory, McLelland theory, goal setting theory. Okay, and then you also need to know the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic reward and how does that relate to the performance and that reward, okay, your reward system. All these things are in your textbook, eh? Okay, and then link performance evaluation daripada performance evaluation that you have looked into relate to the reward, and finally how motivation plays its role. Okay, so what's the biggest challenge in decentralized organization? Hopefully you still remember about the decentralized organization. So it's basically when you want to make sure that the all the subunits in that particular organization are trying achieving the organizational goal. So that is basically the biggest challenge in a decentralized organization. So you want to make sure that they obtain the organization, they have this goal congruence. And then also what about the autonomous managers? Autonomous managers means you give the autonomy, you give the power to all these managers to make decision, as I said just now. So you give power to A, you give power to B, and you give power to C to make decisions. So when they have the power to make decision, they are called autonomous managers. So when they are being given the power to make the decision, so how are you going to make sure that the decision made by A, B, and C are in alignment what as goal congruence? And we it is said that the biggest challenge in a decentralized organization is to achieve that goal congruence. Can you follow ataupun you find it difficult? As for now, boleh?
Boleh, Doktor?
All right, okay. So this one is just basically a revision based on our previous topic. You look into the performance evaluation about the goal congruence. Okay. Next, you're going to look into the to achieve the goal congruence, the behavior of the managers throughout a decentralized organization. So it must be directed. Must be directed towards what? Towards achieving the organizational goal. So how do you achieve this? So one way of you trying to achieve this is you develop a performance targets, you develop a reward system. And when you develop these performance targets and when you develop this reward system, you must make sure that finally the performance target or the reward system that you do will finally encourage the managers to achieve that goal congruence. Setakat ni, hopefully you understand the relationship. Make sure the reward system will tie to the performance, and finally that will encourage the managers to achieve that goal congruence. So what is performance targets? It's provide direction for managers of we are talking about decentralized units now, or throughout ni we are talking about the decentralized unit and used by corporate management to evaluate the performance of that particular unit or of that particular managers. And then reward systems are often tied to a manager's achievement of targets and provide further incentive for managers to strive towards organizational goals. So when you talk about the reward system, you look at how you remunerate, how you reward, how you pay your employees, okay, or the managers. So you consist of the processes, practices, and systems that are used to provide level of payment. The payment includes the monetary payments as well as the in-kind payment. When we talk about the payment, means the ringgit and cent that you pay. When we talk about the benefits ataupun in kinds, for example, the free holiday that you give to your employees. So it includes both lah. When you talk about the reward systems, it include the monetary payment as well as the in-kind payment. And then employee remuneration may consist of your base salary, and then maybe you will have also your pay, but that pay is a performance related pay. And then as I said just now, the non-financial reward. So the non-financial rewards such as better computer ataupun office, big office, over the free travel, uh, dinner at a restaurant for the family, etc. lah. All these things include the remuneration. So provide strong positive incentive for managers and employees to strive for higher performance. However, if you don't design your performance system carefully, and finally it will lead to a dysfunctional dysfunctional behavior of the managers as well as your employees. So that is what you don't want to have. You don't want to have the dysfunctional behavior. So to encourage to design a reward system, and finally you want to make sure that you have you can achieve that goal congruence is kind of difficult. You have to make sure that they are in alignment, and finally the reward system that you design will encourage the employees to improve their performance. Kalau saya cakap macam tu, faham ke? Kalau if you don't understand, okay, if you don't understand, then just stop me and okay. Just stop me and ask lah anything if you don't understand. So that is the first step that you need to understand, the linkage from the decentralized organization, issues in a decentralized organization, that is the goal incongruence. So you want to make sure that you achieve that goal congruence. In order for you to achieve that goal congruence, you have to design a reward system that finally will lead to improvement in the performance. And bila dia dah improve the performance, you want to make sure that overall for the organizational point of view, you achieve that goal congruence. Okay. So issues to consider include the composition of the incentive payments, whether you want to reward, how do you want to reward your employees? Are you going to reward your employees individually, or are you going to give them a reward based on group basis? And then you need to understand in which scenario you should provide individual basis, in which scenario you should provide a group performance based on the group performance achievement. And then what are the types of reward and what yang will motivate their employees. So that leads you to motivation, of which you will look into the motivational theories. As I said previously, why we need theory? Theory is basically you want to explain the scenario. You want to explain why people behave as such. So that's the use of theory. So when we talk about the motivational theory, you are looking at what theory what are the theories that are available to assist you to explain their motivation. So when you talk about the motivation, no one can do everything, but we nearly be able to achieve more than what we think we can. So when you talk about the motivation, so it consists of the direction, intensity, and persistence. So dia akan ada 3 components of motivation, which are number 1 adalah direction, number 2 adalah intensity, and the third one is persistence. So what is meant by the when you talk about the intensity, it's basically you are looking at the, I was saying I'm the greatest long before I believe it. Okay, direction is the, mana tadi? Okay, direction is the dia kata the direction in which education starts a man will determine his future in life, and persistence is not that I am so smart, it's just that I stay with the problems longer. So when you talk about the motivation, dia akan ada these three elements. When you talk about the intensity, it looks at how hard you try to achieve that. When you talk about the direction, it's where are you moving towards to? So it's moving towards the beneficial goal. And when you talk about the persistence, means how long you try to achieve that. So that is basically the components of motivation. Tak adalah macam dia try sekali, fail, and then that's it. So that is not persistence. You keep on trying until you achieve what you desire. So that is basically when you talk about the persistence. So in short, motivation will consist of all these three elements: direction, intensity, and persistence. And then understanding some of the theories of motivation can help guide managers thinking about designing and implementing reward system. So as I said earlier, why you want to know about all this motivational theory? Because by understanding this theory, it assists the managers or the company to design a proper reward system that finally will lead to enhancement in the performance. Okay, so motivation refers to the processes that accounts for an individual study intensity, direction, and persistence, so that finally you boleh achieve the goal. And then the level of employee motivation is basically based on that specific situation, and it will become different from one individual to another, right? And then you also need to know what is meant by intrinsic and extrinsic. As the name implies, if it is an intrinsic motivation, that means it comes from within. It comes from inside that person. That is intrinsic. A person's internal desire you to see things as interest, challenge, and personal action. Why you want to do that? Because I want to do it. Because I want to achieve my personal satisfaction. Because I want to challenge myself. So that is basically about the intrinsic motivation. Or when you look at the other way around, okay, that involves employees engaging in activities without any external inducement. Kenapa nak belajar rajin-rajin? Because saya nak make sure nanti in the future I will be a good person, I will have a better job. So why you want to study? So motivation because my personal, that is called intrinsic motivation. Ataupun kenapa you nak study? Because kalau saya tak study nanti mak marah. Kalau saya tak study nanti somebody else. You because of others. So that is basically why you do things, because of the external factor. That is extrinsic motivation. It still will motivate. Dia kata motivation that comes from outside the person. Kenapa you nak buat? Because I'm going to I want to have that good pay because of the bonuses yang being offered, ataupun other tangible rewards derived from sources outside of that individual, so that dia kata can induce mungkin that financial reward ke, pay increase ke, ataupun some non-financial reward ke. So basically when you talk about the motivation, that comes from two sources. One is called intrinsic, the other one is extrinsic. When you talk about the intrinsic, it's basically within, comes from within that person. If that is extrinsic, means it comes from outside of that person. Okay. So when it so first you need to know about the intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, and then you move on to what are the theories that are available. Yang ini you dah tengok dah in your, it's the same thing basically dengan you punya subject financial accounting kan. As for now saya rasa dah tak masuk dalam your syllabus, so I'm not going to further explain on the agency theory. So I'm going to go with the Maslow theory of needs. I believe that you already come across this word, dah pernah tengok pun on this theory, on the Maslow principle age. Okay, so I'm going to go into Maslow theory of needs. So Maslow theory of needs is basically you are looking at the dia kata theory, the needs of an individual will be based on hierarchy. So that's why namanya Maslow hierarchy of needs. What is meant by hierarchy? Hierarchy means you have to fulfill one first, then only you move into two, then move into three, then move into four, then move into five. Can your can you find you straight away achieve this one? Tak boleh. Dia kata you must follow the hierarchy. Based on this theory, dia kata a person can only achieve the self-actualization here only if the lower parts are being fulfilled. What do I mean by that? Meaning, individuals, they need physiological needs. So, physiological needs ni kena fulfill dulu. What is meant by physiological needs? Example, air, water, kan? Then only you need safety. Once you have that safety, and then only you go for the social needs. Social needs ada kawan, ada okay. Once you have fulfilled this one, ataupun sometimes dipanggil lower order needs, then only you boleh achieve your self-esteem and self-actualization, the confidence, the achievement, respect of others. Okay, this one, then only you have the self-actualization. So dia kata that needs must be based on the hierarchy daripada the lower order needs, which includes your physiological, safety and social, then only you will have your self-esteem and self-actualization. So it's basically you are saying that perlu fulfill yang the lower parts dulu, the lower hierarchy first, which are kenapa you tak boleh concentrate in class because I'm so hungry. Kan I haven't eaten for the whole day. So you kena fulfill dulu ni. Okay, kalau dah makan, dah ada air, water and so on, what about the safety? Malam ni tahu tak nak tidur kat mana? Contohnya ada tak shelter, protection and so on. Ada gaduh tak dengan kawan-kawan ataupun semua okey je. So once you have fulfilled all these things, then only baru you boleh achieve the self-esteem, respect, achievement, your reputation. Then only you can put the best that you can be. Put all your effort so that finally you will perform. Contohnya. So that is about the Maslow hierarchy of needs. Dia kata that motivation, okay, that self-actualization and self-esteem can only be achieved if you have fulfilled the lower order needs. Okay, so next we move on to, kalau tak faham tanya. Okay, next we move on to Hertberg theory. Kalau you senyap tu, I assume that you understand. So what does Hertberg theory say? So Hertberg, dia kata there are two factors. So a two-factor theory ataupun sometimes dipanggil Hertzberg's two-factor theory. What are they? Dia ada two factors. One is called the hygiene factors. The other one namanya intrinsic ataupun motivators. So I repeat, for Hertzberg theory ataupun Hertzberg's two-factor theory, dia kata basically there are two factors in the theory. What are they? One is called hygiene. The other one is called motivators, hygiene factors and motivators. What are the difference? Hygiene ni adalah factors that provide the necessary setting for motivation. Necessary setting for motivation but do not themselves motivate employees. Example of hygiene factors are working condition, the wage level, the rules and regulation, relationship with colleagues, your job security. Those are the examples of hygiene factors. Whereas what are the motivators? Factors that relate to job content or job outcome, and that will provide your motivation. Example, achievement, recognition, nature of work, responsibility and opportunity for personal growth. So all those are motivators. So dia kata job satisfaction and job dissatisfaction are created by different factors. Hygiene factors are extrinsic, whereas motivators are intrinsic. So you want to explain the job satisfaction. Okay, kalau you tengok kat jap. Okay. Okay, so if you were to look here, I just give you an example. Let's say, imagine yourself in a class. Okay, imagine yourself in a class And then let's say you masuk satu kelas, and let's say masuk kelas nak datang kelas sebab nak belajar lah kan. But when you come to the class, kerusi tak ada, meja tak ada, aircon tak ada, dan saya kata belajar. Saya pun ajar and then duduk je dekat lantai and so on. How do you feel? Imagine the scenario, saya kata you come to a class, an empty room, tak ada aircon, tak ada meja, tak ada kerusi. How do you feel bila ada you as a student dan saya sebagai lecturer, and we have to study in that class and sit there for 2 hours? How do you feel?
Tak selesa.
Tak selesa
Tak
kan?
motivate.
Tak motivated, you will feel dissatisfied, macam panasnya kelas ni and so on kan. So you will feel dissatisfaction. So can you concentrate? Most likely boleh concentrate like about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, tapi not up to 2 hours for example. So that is called hygiene factors. Maksudnya when you come to the class, kena ada kerusi. You expect kena ada kerusi, kena ada meja, kena ada aircon. Contoh dia kan, kena ada whiteboard ataupun proper projector and so on. So that is called external factor. That is the hygiene factors. Kan, macam contohnya tadi kita kata working condition, all the kerusi, all the meja are called the hygiene factors. Okay, so now bila dia tak ada, let's say hygiene factors, tak ada hygiene factors tadi. Saya kata no kerusi, no meja, no aircon. How do you feel? You will feel dissatisfied. Okay, you have dissatisfaction and could relate to demotivation. Kan? Okay, now that is my first scenario. My second scenario is now, okay, saya bagi you kerusi, saya bagi you meja, saya bagi you aircon. How do you feel?
Satisfied.
Yeah, you will, okay lah kan, ada semua okay, satisfied. But that itself does not necessarily akan relate kepada motivation. You will feel satisfaction. Okay, baguslah ada aircon, ada kerusi, ada meja. But that it's by the adanya kerusi, adanya meja, tak adalah semua orang dapat 100 pun dalam periksa kan. Macam tu. Bila bagi test, macam contohnya kalau ada 30 orang dalam kelas, tak adalah 30 pun dapat 100%. So maksudnya, so you will feel satisfied, but that itself dengan adanya kerusi, meja dan aircon does not really lead to motivation. So what you need untuk ada positive satisfaction dan juga positive motivation tadi, so that will be the motivational factors. Mungkin you kata kena ada your personal interest, your personal growth, your job interest tadi, your recognition. Kalau macam get good grades, you akan dapat carry a good job and so on lah. So all these things dipanggil sebagai motivational factors. So as a summary, basically dia kata apa? Hertberg two-factor theory, dia kata for you to have that motivation ataupun improvement ataupun increase in that motivation ataupun positive in terms of the motivation, what do you need to have? Kena ada both. Both tu apa? One is called the hygiene factors and the other one namanya adalah motivational factors. You kena ada dua-dua ni, then only akan lead kepada enhancement in the motivation. Kalau you ada satu je, hygiene factors je, dia akan lead to satisfaction, but that itself does not necessarily lead to high motivation. So dia kata kalau tak ada hygiene factor, akan ada dissatisfaction, akan ada demotivation. Tapi if you have that hygiene factors, so if you have that hygiene factors, dia akan lead to satisfaction but does not lead to motivation. So what do you need untuk have that satisfaction and motivation? Dia kata kena ada dua-dua. You ada hygiene factors, then you ada motivational factors tadi. Then only dia akan lead kepada positive satisfaction and positive motivation. Tu siapa yang cakap? Hertberg two-factor theory. Faham ke?
Faham, madam.
Alright, okay. So as for now, saya dah explain two theories. One namanya adalah the Maslow hierarchy of needs. Maslow hierarchy of needs, dia kata that hierarchy kena based on the uh, lower order dengan higher order tadilah, kena fulfill dulu, dia kena based on the hierarchy tadi. Okay, and then you have this one, Hertberg two factor theory, akan ada hygiene factors and motivators. So kalau you boleh relate kan, if you look at the Maslow tadi, self-esteem and self-actualization is actually correspond to your motivators, whereas social safety, physiological needs tadi relate kepada hygiene factors ataupun dipanggil lower order needs dengan higher order needs. Yang ini adalah lower order needs lah. So lower order needs ni normally being external, extrinsic tadi, satisfied externally. Yang hygiene factors tadi kan. Whereas higher order needs ni normally will be satisfied internally, yang intrinsic tadi lah. Okay, so that is about the Maslow and Hertzberg. Saya letak punya equity theory ni saya rasa tak ada. Saya nak show your ni, your syllabus ni dekat ni kan, lesson plan. So kalau if you were to look at your lesson plan on the incentive scheme and reward system, so these are the things that you kena tahu kan, motivational theories, you kena tahu incentive and compensation system. Then you also need to know about the Hertzberg two-factor theory, then expectancy, McLelland, goal setting. Azan ya? Sekejap ya, azan. Okay, continue. Alright, so this one is the, nampak ke saya punya soalan past year? Nampak kot
Nampak, Madam.
Alright, okay. So thank you. So basically, so this one is the example of past year, February 2023. So this one, dia bagi scenario, the food and beverage business experiencing a golden age and so on. So dia suruh you buat apa? Based on Hertberg two-factor theory. So the question is on, based on Hertberg two-factor theory, what do you need to do, which can be universally applied by managers in food and beverage industry? Discuss. So what is it that you are required? Discuss how the management of She, ni nama company ni She lah kan. Okay. This particular company, okay, how the management of She can inspire their employees to achieve the performance objective. Kan saya kata when you have the finally what do you want to achieve, you nak make sure lah dia achieve the objective tadi yang goal congruence and the first one tadi kan. So you achieve the performance objectives and then as well as dia kata minimize the turnover rate. So you don't want them to leave the company, you want them to improve their performance. So you how are you going to improve make sure that the managers tadi can improve dia punya performance. So you apply based on the Hertberg two-factor theory. So when you discuss tadi, yang dalam your discussion basically tadi kena ada these two factors. What are they? The hygiene factors as well as the motivator. So you identify lah daripada the story ataupun the scenario given, what are the hygiene factors and what are the motivators. Kena make sure dua-dua, both of this must coexist, then only finally akan lead to enhancement in the motivation. Bila dia dah motivate, then dia akan improve dia punya performance. So that the arguments will be somewhere around that lah. Kan? And then explain, okay, this one is about the two types of performance related reward system. Okay, so that is about the Hertberg two-factor theory. Okay, tadi saya tengok 10.9. Okay, this one McLelland theory. Risk. Ada dia tukar-tukar dia. Okay, this one is about the write a report suggesting how McLelland theory of needs may be applied to motivate the sales team to improve performance. Okay, so you see here again to improve performance tadi kan. So finally saya kata when you have that motivational ni is basically the motivational theory is there to assist you, to help you to explain how that finally akan lead to motivation. Bila dia dah motivated, you kena relate dengan dia akan include lead to improvement in the performance. Kan? So but this one dia suruh you explain based on the McLelland theory of needs pula. So include in your report commenting on the appropriateness ni lah. Okay, so bacalah dia pun apply lah kepada that scenario kan. So but this one nampak markah dia about 25 marks untuk satu soalan. So you have to first understand that particular theory, then apply that case, explain apa yang dia tanya. In this case dia tanya on the how that can lead to enhancement in the motivation that finally akan improve your performance. Apply that theory. So you kena tahulah that theory first before you boleh apply kan. So next we look into the McLelland theory. Okay, expectancy. Expectancy we have expectancy McLelland. Okay, kita tengok expectancy first. Ada soalan expectancy kejap lagi. Expectancy punya soalan. Ini tadi McLelland theory 98. On the expectancy. Ini goal setting. Okay, so this one soalan on the goal setting theory. Okay, ask about the concerning Locke's goal setting theory dan juga expectancy theory. Okay, dia suruh you apa? Explain the principles which have been ignored by the management that have caused something yang relate dengan motivation. Okay, kenapa motivation dia deteriorate? Maknanya less motivated lah. Kenapa? So when you want to explain that, kena explain daripada expectancy theory. Kan? So explain that from the expectancy theory. Ni goal pula, alright. So kita tengok expectancy theory. So expectancy theory ni dia cakap apa? So expectancy theory dia ada 3 komponen. Dia kata states that employee motivation, okay, is a function of apa? Is a function of expectancy, okay, expectancy, instrumentality and valence. So you ada number 1 adalah expectancy, number 2 adalah instrumentality and the third one is valence. What is expectancy? So expectancy is the relationship daripada effort kepada performance. Okay, individuals' perceptions that the effort he or she puts into a task will lead to a certain performance. Okay, instrumentality tu apa? Instrumentality is daripada performance kepada reward. The perception that achieving performance will lead to the attainment of a desired outcome. That is the reward. And the third one is valence, that is reward dengan personal goal. The degree to which the reward satisfies the individual's goal, attractiveness of the reward for that individual. Faham ke tak faham? Faham ke tak faham?
Boleh explain sekali
Faham,
mungkin
Doktor.
yang bahagian expectancy.
Okay. Ambil simple example as a student. Katakan simple example as a student. Katakanlah student A, okay. Kalau you malas belajar, you tak put effort lah, maksudnya effort you malas belajar, apa jadi pada you punya performance? Katakanlah dia tak belajar, tak pergi kelas, kan effort sikit dapat D. Belajar rajin sikit, dapatlah cukup makan dapat C. Put more effort lagi, belajar rajin lagi sikit, buat latihan and so on, dapat B. Tambah lagi effort, apa jadi pada performance? Dapat A. Setakat tu faham tak? That is expectancy. Effort dengan performance. Usaha sikit, performance pun dapat sikit lah. Maknanya if you put in less effort, dapat C, D result. Tapi kalau more effort, a lot of effort that you put in, buat latihan, bukan satu je, buat 10 latihan contohnya and so on. Okay, then you akan dapat A. So effort and performance. Individual's perception that the effort he or she puts into a task akan lead to a certain performance. So that is namanya apa? Expectancy. What is expectancy? The relationship between effort and performance. Whereby the more effort that you put in, the improvement will be in terms of the performance. Kalau saya can translate into figures ataupun quantify, effort 5 dapat C, effort 7 katakan dapat B, effort 10 dapat A, macam tu. More effort, more performance. Okay, that is expectancy. Faham kot ya? Next one, instrumentality. Saya kata siapa yang dapat A akan dapat anugerah dekan. Contohnya kan, you banyak dapat A, performance akan dapat reward. You akan dapat anugerah dekan. Bila dapat anugerah dekan, konfu dapat selempang kuning and so on lah. So bila performance, you dah perform, you will be rewarded. So the perceptions that achieving performance will lead to the attainment of a desired outcome. Nak tak reward tu, nak tak dapat anugerah dekan? Nak, contohnya. And then that is instrumentality. Kalau valence is the rewards kepada personal goal. The degree to which the reward satisfies the individual's goal, attractiveness of that reward to that individual. So rasa suka tak bila dapat how that reward to you? Kalau macam contohnya ataupun dia kata kalau you dapat A akan dapat nanti RM10,000 contohnya. Contohnya kalau dapat A dapat RM10,000. Lepas tu how that reward, suka tak dapat RM10,000? Sukalah. So kalau you rasa happy, so that is valence. That reward kepada you punya personal goal. Kalau orang tu jutawan tak ada benda pun, tak nak pun, tak kisah pun pada dia. So how that individual perceive that particular reward. So I repeat, for expectancy theory, dia kata for you to have that motivation, you need to have all these three elements. Apa dia? The first one adalah expectancy, number two adalah instrumentality, the third one is valence. What is expectancy? The relationship daripada effort kepada performance. Instrumentality is the performance to that reward. Valence is how you perceive that reward. Reward to your personal goal. Okay, so contoh lagi. Let's see mana contoh saya. Okay. Okay, let's say, katakan, dia kata, your lecturer offers you 1 million ringgit if you memorize the textbook by tomorrow morning. Okay, saya kata, siapa boleh hafal textbook Langfield tu besok, saya bagi hari ni, saya kata hafal textbook Langfield tu besok. Saya bagi 1 juta ringgit. My question, awak nak buat ke tak nak buat?
Tak nak.
Tak nak kan? Awak tak nak. Sebab apa
Tak
tak nak?
sanggup.
Tak sanggup.
Tak cukup waktu.
1 juta kot kan? Sebab apa? Sebab suka tak dapat 1 juta? Suka tak dapat 1 juta ringgit?
Suka.
Suka. Jadi kalau saya kata reward kepada your personal goal, suka tak? Yes lah. Kan? Sukalah. Tapi kalau you kata effort, dia kata no matter how much effort, nampak ke saya punya slide ni? Okay, no matter how much effort you put in, probably not possible to memorize the text in 24 hours. Jadi expectancy dekat sini adalah 0. And then, kalau saya kata performance, your lecturer ni does not look like someone yang ada 1 juta. Kalau saya ada 1 juta pun, baik saya guna sendiri. Dia kata kan, takkan buat apa saya nak bagi kat orang untuk hafal tu. Jadi dia kata your lecturer pun does not look like someone who has the 1 million ringgit. Jadi dekat sini pun adalah 0. Tapi seronok tak kalau dapat 1 juta tu? Mestilah suka. There are a lot of wonderful things that you could do with that 1 million. Kalau kat sini je yes, kat sini no, it doesn't lead to motivation. Jadi finally you nak hafal ke tak? Finally tak adalah effort pun untuk hafal that textbook. Jadi dia tak akan lead to motivation. Bila dekat sini no, kat sini no, tapi kat sini je yes. So the issue is that based on expectancy theory, dia kata macam mana that will lead to a motivation bila dekat sini yes, kat sini yes, kat sini pun yes. Then only dia akan lead to motivation. Faham?
Faham je.
Alright. So, dia kata though you value the reward, you will not be motivated to the task. Kan? So, it's basically, saya ulang balik. So, dia kata tadi expectancy theory ni introduced by Vroom. So, Vroom ni dikata daripada individual effort kepada performance. Daripada performance kepada that reward. Dan reward tu how you kepada you punya personal goal. So, dia ada effort kepada performance, that is called expectancy. Daripada performance kepada reward adalah instrumentality. Reward kepada personal goal adalah valence, and semua mesti yes, then only dia akan lead to motivation. So expectancy is high. Kalau expectancy dia high, maknanya people perceive that if they try hard, they can reach a certain level of performance. Yes. Okay, instrumentality dia kata that high performance akan lead to kepada certain outcome. Yes, and then valence pula, you memang desire that outcome. You memang value that outcome. You look forward for that particular outcome. So then only dia akan jadi yes. So bila kasih all the three yes, then only akan lead kepada motivation. Kalau sini yes, sini no, sini yes, tak boleh jadi. Anything yang no je, dia tak jadi, tak akan finally lead to motivation. So that is based on expectancy theory. Dia kena ada semua tu baru dia boleh lead kepada motivation. So when you answer the question just now, okay, based on, kalau dia tanya based on the Vroom's expectancy theory, so you kena explain the 3 components of expectancy theory. Okay, tadi all the 3 components and what are they, and then apply that to this particular scenario given, and then finally akan lead to motivation. So how you answer lah. Okay. So saya dah explain on the Maslow hierarchy of needs, Hertberg two-factor theory. The third one adalah expectancy theory. The fourth one is on the McLelland theory. So McLelland theory ni apa? Dia kata not everyone wants to stand out from the crowd. Kalau tengok kat sini nampaknya yang payung kuning. So McLelland theory, so David McLelland built on the theory in his 1961 book, Achieving Society. So dia kata, he identified three motivators that he believed we all have. Number one adalah need for achievement. The second one adalah need for affiliation. The third one adalah need for power. So need for achievement, dia kata individual who is achievement motivated, they always seek for achievement, challenging goal and advancement in the job. Likes to receive regular feedback on their progress and achievement. So this one, dia kata kalau orang tu dia go for achievement. So that's how that person will try to achieve, then dia will be motivated by that achievement. Ada setengah orang, dia will be motivated by affiliation. Dia need that affiliation. Individual who is motivated towards interaction with other people, dia adalah team player. Dia favors collaboration over competition. So dia tak suka high risk, dia don't like uncertainties in decision sebab dia need for affiliation. For those yang need for power, dia kata individual who needs to be influential, dia ada all this, selalunya macam leaders lah, dia need for power, dia need to be influential, dia akan effective dan dia nak make sure dia akan make an impact. So likes to win in an argument, dia like to have that status, dia like to have that recognition. So that one, if that person is being encouraged ataupun motivated by power. So basically dia kata individuals you can akan ada, sama ada you tengok kat sini dia adakah need for achievement, need for affiliation ataupun need for power. Tadi saya tengok soalan which one ni adalah goal setting, previous one. Tiga tadi. Oh, this one is Hertberg. 10, 8. Not 8, 9. This one. Suggest how McLelland theory of needs. So sorry. Kalau you talk about the theory of needs tadi, ada you can talk daripada need for power affiliation tadi dengan apa tadi, maybe applied to motivate the sales team to improve performance. Okay, so this one you apply to this particular scenario, you baca cerita dia ni kan. So what happens dekat sini? So dia kata Anal has won the best staff award for 2 consecutive years due to outstanding sales he made when he was with his former company. Okay, so tengok dia ni need of apa. So you apply based on the scenario given. So based on need of apa and try to write a report to suggesting how McLelland's theory of needs may be applied to motivate the sales team to improve the performance. So sama semua saya katakan basically normally based on that motivation dia akan lead to improvement in the performance. Okay, include in your report commenting on the appropriateness of a plan to appoint Amal as the head of the sales team. So sekarang ni dia nak lantik based on that story lah, based on the scenario tadi. So comment lah. Okay, based on that. So that one is on the okay. So based on the goal setting theory pula, goal setting theory, okay, dia ada 2 tadilah. Edwin Locke dengan Latham and Locke ni, dia first 1960 dia put forward the goal setting theory of motivation. So what about this theory? This theory states that goal setting is essentially linked to task performance. It states that specific and challenging goals along with appropriate feedback contribute to higher and better task performance. In other words, goal indicates and give direction to an employee about what needs to be done and how much efforts are required to be put in. So it's basically macam common sense lah nak kata. You need to have that goal. So and that goal must be specific, must be challenging, and also the employees need feedback whether they are able to achieve that ke tak ke kan. Okay, and then the willingness to work towards attainment of that goal is basically the source of your motivation. So clear, particular, and difficult goals are greater motivating factors than easy, general, and vague goals. It's basically how difficult is difficult pun subject to arguments juga. Okay, in terms of the goals, selalunya we go for the sini, smart lah specific, measurable, attainable. Okay. Mana tadi? Mana saya tulis? Tak ada. Mana saya punya? Okay, so this one. It must be specific, means what, where, and how. A specific goal is distinct and defines as much of the goal as possible and contains no ambiguous. So it must be specific. What is it that you want to achieve? There must be specific. And then the goal must be measurable. Kita nak increase ataupun we want to have success ataupun we want to improve untuk next year. So that is not measurable. So measurable means how much sales that we want to make for next year. Contohnya we want to increase our sales by RM 10,000. So it must be measurable in that sense lah. So that is meant by measurable. And then attainable or assignable. Attainable means you put something that is challenging, but make sure that is being can be achieved by the employees ataupun by the managers. Okay, it must be feasible ataupun realistic dan juga must be time based. Time based maksudnya there are specific time whereby you want to achieve, to make sure that that can be achieved. Maknanya 1 week ke, 1 month ke, 1 year ke, there must be time. It's not indefinite. Okay, so that is the idea of the goal setting theory. Yang lain-lain awak boleh baca. Mana tadi saya punya textbook. Textbook. Also, dekat sini, kat mana you punya performance? Jangan cari dalam textbook on your responsibility center, team-based structure. Transfer pricing. Kat mana textbook dalam chapter performance? Mana kejap yang saya cari. Chapter. Tengok dalam your textbook kejap. Sekejap bagi masa saya cari kejap dalam your textbook. Chapter. Transfer price chapter. Financial incentive scheme chapter 13. Chapter 13 kalau you tengok kat sini kan, so you have the intrinsic, extrinsic, motivation tadi. So sebab dekat sini daripada you punya kan, kita tengok on the incentive scheme ROI daripada performance tadi sampai intrinsic, and then Hertberg, expectancy, performance related pay system, advantages between group dan juga individual tadi kan. And then frequency and timing of payment, ni semua masuk dalam exam lah. Semua ada dalam you punya textbook juga 13.9. So if you were to look at 13.9, okay. So this one you boleh juga tengok dalam you punya textbook on the motivation. So motivation is a complex topic. Understanding of some of the theories of motivation can help guide managers. Okay, thinking about designing and implementing incentive scheme. So when you want to design tadi, sometimes soalan is about how you want to design an incentive scheme kan. And finally when you implement, finally kena make sure dia akan improve performance, dia akan lead to enhancement in the motivation. Okay, so motivation refers to the processes that account for an individual's intensity, direction and persistence yang saya sebut tadi. Okay, and intensity, direction and persistence of effort towards so that finally you boleh achieve the goal. Okay, and then you kena tahu between intrinsic apa dia, extrinsic apa, in basically inside lah. X means basically outside lah. Okay, so and then intrinsic motivation may arise when employee experience the following. So you ada choice, competence, meaningfulness, progress. Okay, and then so ni based on researchers kan, saya kata based on papers kan, based on papers. This one, and then how can an organization encourage intrinsic motivation? Kan, and then empowerment. What is meant by empowerment? Empowerment is basically you give power, you empower the employee to make decision rather than being directed ataupun dipanggil top down approach kan, daripada semua boss yang decide, you terima je arahan tu. But at a certain point dia kata when you empower the workers, sebab dia yang lagi tahu how to do things kan dekat bawah tu, kat this level, okay, at the operational level ataupun tactical level, they know more because they are the one who perform the task. So what do? You empower them. You give them power to make decision rather than being directed. So finally dia kata pun boleh lead to motivation juga. Bila you have employee participation, you have employee empowerment, that finally can also lead to motivation as well. Okay. Kemudian you look at the theories of motivation. Tadi kita dah tengok on the Maslow hierarchy of needs kan ya. You dah tengok on the you ada juga McGregor's theories X and Y. You ada juga Hertberg two factor theory. Tadi kan yang ada Hertberg two factor theory, you ada hygiene factors, okay, dengan motivators. Kemudian you also look at the McLelland theory of needs. Kemudian you tengok juga on the goal setting theory. Kemudian tadi expectancy theory yang ada 3 factors tadi. Okay. So all those things lah ada juga kat sini. Boleh tengok on the yang kita kata Hertberg akan ada hygiene factors dengan motivators, and then expectancy tadi ada expectancy, instrumentality and balance. And then you also need to look into ni tadi expectancy lah, effort kepada performance, kepada outcome, and how that outcome kepada you punya personal goal. And then you also need to know next one adalah on the performance related pay system. So performance related pay system ataupun reward system on achieving or exceeding some performance target. So under these systems, employees are paid a base pay, maknanya basic salary lah, that is your base pay, and then plus tu adalah additional pay, and that additional pay will be awarded based on either individual ataupun based on group. So various types of incentive compensation scheme include those based on individual ataupun based on the compensation plan based on the team lah, ataupun group ataupun based on the company as a whole. So you boleh tengok on the individual base ataupun group base. Dalam your textbook, you ada individual, you ada profit sharing, you ada employee share, ada gain sharing, ada team based incentive scheme. So this one pun sama juga daripada sini lah. So kalau you tengok dekat sini, dia kata performance related. Apa maksud performance related pay system? You not simply give them payment. Kenapa you tak bagi je dia punya basic pay? Because cuba jawab soalan saya ke dah tak faham dah ataupun dah penat dah. Performance related pay system is basically when you reward the employee. Kenapa you reward the employee? Because you want to finally make sure that they are being motivated kan. When you reward, because you want to improve in terms of the performance. When you want to improve in terms of the performance tadi, how? The question is, how are you going to reward them? How are you going to reward them so that finally dia akan lead kepada apa tadi? Motivation. bila dia dah being motivated, dia akan lead kepada enhancements in the performance tadi saya katakan. So macam mana nak make sure performance dia improve? How to make sure that performance dia improve? You akan tie apa? You will tie that performance to dia punya reward. Contohnya kalau saya kata you tak akan dapat gaji je. Kalau you punya performance bagus, baru dapat gaji berapa persen ke ataupun bonus berapa persen ke, contohnya. So you, let's say dia kata katakan bonus will be 20% katakanlah of the performance. So kalau dia nak dapat banyak duit, dia improve lah dia punya performance. Kan bonus ni, macam mana you pay the bonus, dia akan tie dengan dia punya performance. A certain percentage contohnya, 20% of the performance. So that is called as performance related pay system. Dia pay system, but that pay system dia being related kepada performance. Kenapa? Why you relate that to your performance? Because you want to encourage them to improve their performance. That is the idea lah of performance related pay system. So how are you going to pay? Dia kata organizations can choose to implement a variety of performance related pay system. So the various types of performance related includes based on individual ataupun based on tadi group. So kalau based on the individual, maksudnya as the name imply, you bayar dia based on individual lah. Dia punya tie to the outcome and reward of that particular individual. Kan? So normally ni boleh explain guna expectancy theory dia kata. Or individual incentive plans are very common at senior level. Yang lain-lain boleh baca lah. Okay, the next one ni, kalau you kata profit sharing plan. Under profit sharing plan, employees are paid cash bonuses based on specified percentage of the company's profit. Maksudnya, you want to make sure that finally, performance of the company bagus. Macam mana kita nak tengok performance of the company tu bagus? Maksudnya, profit of the company tu tinggi lah kan? So when the profit of the company so when the performance is higher, profit of the company will increase. So you nak make sure everybody is trying to enhance the profit of the company. So macam mana nak make sure everybody is trying to improve the profit of the company? So you tie the reward dengan the profit of the company. So that is called the profit sharing plan. Faham kot kan? So that is profit sharing plan. Yang lain-lain pun boleh baca lah. Kalau gain sharing is a system where cash bonuses are distributed to employees when the performance of their segment of a company, sama ada dia punya department ke, dia punya production ke, exceeds some performance target. You set a certain performance target and then when they achieve that ataupun they exceed that, then they will get a certain percentage. That is the gain sharing. Kalau team-based incentive, they involve individuals being rewarded based on their work team. As a team lah, because kenapa? Kalau dia depends on that work, kalau that work dia based on team. Macam contohnya saya kata okay, kumpulan when you do the presentation is based on a group work ataupun team. So you nak markah individual ke, you nak markah as a team. So satu team akan dapat the same marks kan, based on the effort that you have put in. So kalau that work ataupun that task ataupun that job requires a team effort. So normally sesuai lah, more appropriate for you to reward them based on team. But if that work is most likely be completed based on individual effort, then normally lebih sesuai you pay ataupun you reward that based on the individual work. So that is the idea lah. Kemudian how you link that reward to group ataupun nak reward kepada based on the individual. The idea is that if that effort ataupun that task requires individual work, then reward individually. If that task requires a teamwork, then reward based on the team. And then in terms of the frequency and timing of the payment pun you boleh baca lah, nak bayar berapa, nak bayar every 2 weeks ke, nak bayar every month ke, nak pay quarterly ke, depends lah. Okay. Yang lain-lain tu awak boleh baca. So that is the idea untuk this particular topic. Tadi saya kata. Okay, so this one. 9. So soalan part B of the question. Okay, part B of the question, explain 2 types of performance related reward system. Kan tadi saya kata dia adalah performance related. That means this one is you relate the reward based on the performance. So the question asks about the explain 2 types of performance related reward systems that can be used but to apply to this particular case lah, to this particular scenario. Kan tadi kan saya cerita yang you look into your dalam textbook tu pun tadi ada banyak kan on the types of performance related reward system. So that is basically you can saja explain lah on the 2 types, 2 example lah of the question dekat sini tadi lah. So you nak bayar dia based on the individual ataupun group. Kalau nak bayar based on the group yang mana kan, which one, ataupun team based tadi semua lah. All these things and then ada advantages, disadvantages of each, you can read lah. So ada lagi ke? So that is basically things that you need to know. Sama jugalah dengan kalau you look into this one, not this one. Past year textbook tadi saya dah tunjuk, dan on the notes pun sama. Chapter 5. Samalah yang this one pun. So you can have a look juga dekat incentive. Sama je lah bendanya, basically what a reward system that you are looking into. Kat sini jap rewarding, how to reward compensation. Boleh baca-baca jugalah lagi yang lain-lain. So extrinsic, intrinsic sama jugalah. All these things, apa dia intrinsic, apa dia extrinsic reward that you need to know. Kemudian about the performance related reward system tadi, as the one yang inside your textbook pun sama, individual ataupun profit sharing tadi, employee share. And when we talk about the employee share, you are giving employee a portion of the share. Bila dia hold a share of that company, dia akan rasalah sense of belongingness, because now dia not only the employee, but when you buy the share, you have the share option. When they being offered a share option plan, means now the employee become the owner. When you become the owner of the company, how do you feel? How mestilah rasa macam, oh, now this company is mine. So when you feel that this company is mine, you akan work towards enhancing the performance of that company lah. So that's the idea of employee share plan ni tadi. So provide employees with the right to purchase company's share. Kan, then you bagilah ada certain price untuk dia beli commonly. So that is about the employee share plans. Gain sharing tadi kita dah tengok, cash bonus are distributed to employees when dia punya dia reach that particular performance target. Team based and so on. So those are the things yang lain-lain awak boleh baca lah. Ada soalan?
Setakat ni tak ada, madam. Doktor.
Okay. So if you don't have any question, yang lain-lain tu awak boleh baca. So sekejap, saya summarize the things that you need to know tadi. Okay, as a summary, things that you need to know untuk this particular topic lah. Untuk this particular topic, mana tadi? Sekejap, saya nak tengok you punya ni dekat you punya lesson plan. Okay, so under sekarang week 12 kan, so under week ni, things that you need to know under incentive scheme and reward system. So dalam incentive scheme and reward system, things that you need to know, you kena discuss the importance of the incentive scheme and reward system. Why you is there, kenapa, and then always boleh relate dengan goal congruence, relate dengan performance, and relate dengan motivation. So you have the motivational theories. So motivational theories yang you kena tahu will be, tadi saya kata Maslow hierarchy of needs, kemudian Hertberg 2-factor theory, expectancy, all the three 3 items tadi, kemudian McLelland theory, kemudian goal setting theory. Okay, explain once you understand that, apply that theories in the scenario selalunya given in the exam tu, and then also the incentive and compensation system selalunya dia relate dengan performance tadi. So that's the idea yang you kena tahu ataupun the things that you need to know untuk under this particular topic, incentive scheme and reward system. Next kita ada one last topic on the, kenapa ni yang tarikh lama? Saya masuk yang tarikh, oh ni saya buka yang lama. Tapi thingsnya samalah. Okay, next one, last topic will be next week lah. I will cover dalam current issues in MA about the managing change for competitive dynamic. So this one about risk and people. Managing risk and managing people will be covered in next week. Yang ni saya, sebab hari Ahad hari tu tak ada kelas, Isnin tak ada kelas. Kan, jadi saya cover untuk, so these are the basic things yang you kena tahu untuk this particular topic lah.